That's some good dicking.
Come on, show the guys where you beat. You're a good little fella, aren't you? Hey? Mate, what would you call it? If you were going to run ducks and chicken together, wouldn't you call it dicking?
You would, you have to.
Whoa!
Alright, what are we looking at today, mate?
Well, we want to talk about stacking chickens and ducks. We're calling it dicking. We're going to talk about the little bull Jersey calves, the fact that they're actually contributing to the joint now. We're going to have a look around. I just want to show you how incredible this place looks. Essentially, Southern Tablelands have really started to dry off, and there's a lot of guys already sort of belly aching about the amount of feed they've got. But I'll show you that that's obviously not the case here. And we're really building an argument for how resilient this program is as far as the amount of fertility. The water infiltration's obviously a lot better here because we are still just green. It looks like the start of spring here. So, and then whatever else we stumble into, we'll show you that too.
It's my eternal wish to get a peacock close up, but it's never going to happen. How many times can we say it in one?
Mate, what would you call it? If you were going to run ducks and chicken together, wouldn't you call it dicking?
You would, you'd have to.
So we're up in Sunty, and we're not just like tinkering around the edges of dicking. We're dicking hard.
We're dicking.
You know what I mean?
Tell me about your dicking.
Yeah. So this is, I'm sure you guys are all familiar with my duck setup. So we have the dunk tanks here with the fresh Wombian Cave aquifer water, and we have the feeder bin system with the 90-degree bend. And you can see the chickens have had no dramas adapting to that. And I was a bit worried that they wouldn't enjoy drinking out of these dunk tanks, but you can see that they've had no dramas adapting to that either.
Oh, they're sculling at that.
Yeah, they love it.
Good cookies.
So if you're gonna run ducks and chickens, and you've already got this set up with all the dogs and the permanent cells, and we've got the water, why not just run them together, I guess was our thought. We have the chICKEN style tractors, which are great, but they're quite labour intensive. I mean, they sort of owe you 15-20 minutes a day, whereas up here, I mean, this has just been phenomenal. We've got plenty of shade. This is where they're hanging out most of the time. But I'm almost certain that these chickens just think they're ducks at this point.
Surely. I had heard that the broilers, if you give them a bit more space, they will walk more than people.
Oh yeah. We don't get all the leg issues and
yeah,
the falling over and not walking. That's all. I mean,
they're obviously cruising.
They're doing really well.
Yeah. And they're not obviously same as the ducks. Not stupid. They've got a nice spot in the shade up
well,
there.
they are stupid, but that's why I almost think the ducks are a good influence on them because they just copy the ducks. So the ducks are funny. Like they'll chill out there, and then 5 or 6 of them will decide that they're hungry. So they'll start walking over for feed, and then they'll all come over and have a feed and a drink. And then 2 of them will wander back in the shade, and they think, oh, that's a good idea. And they all wander back in the shade. So I think the chicken's just going with the flow.
This is kind of like a poultry version of a flirt, which is, cat and sheep. So is that where the idea came from, or you were just
first and foremost, I'm impressed with your knowledge.
Thank you.
Giant tick for you. Have you been watching Joel Salatin videos again?
I'm doing my cross. You can't see it behind the camera.
Yes, definitely. So, look, there are people within certain industries who will look at this and say, well, mate, you're a biohazard. But, I mean, we all understand. I think we all understand that those people need to do a little bit more research and a little bit more reading. But, look, there's a lot of benefits to running different subspecies, and waterfowl and poultry are as different as beef and swine. So you're still going to get that pathogenicity clashing and stuff like that as well. It's different types of fertility going down. I can only see it being a net benefit. Like I said, if we're going to all the effort of creating this predator-free hub with the dogs and running all the hose out with the water and whatever, the more fertility that goes down. They're only here for 4 weeks, you know what I mean? We only get a 4-week run at this, so the more that's hitting the ground, the better, I say.
And our little thing's obviously all about stacking, right? Ecologically and commercially.
Yep.
So we've got dogs which are the heart of the system, and then you've got the chickens and the ducks. Like, it's pretty hectic.
Well, what you got to remember here is
efficiencies.
This is a completely separate market too. Like a well-priced broiler in Australia. Since COVID, there's not a lot of people doing it. So for no more work, I mean, I'll get about $12.50 a kilo for this chicken. So I'll let you guys do your imagination on the added income. But for zero, I would say that there's no more work here. We're going to show you, we'll go back and show you guys the brooder setup, because we actually brood them together as well. So it's literally no more work. It's the exact same amount of work as if I was running my 1,250 ducks, chuck the chickens in, and it's a lot more income. I mean, they're much easier to catch, the chickens. So there's no extra time in catching them or anything like that.
I was going to say, it wouldn't be harder to catch them once you've got them penned up as you do, rather than get them out of your chicken tractor.
Yeah, Well, if anything,
work.
We're coming up here with the modules. So to pick them up here and throw them in the modules is actually more efficient. But that's what we're trying to say to people. You need to stack incomes for your own resilience. I had a conversation with a guy last week about drought resilience, and whenever farmers talk about drought resilience, they're talking about, you know, pasture mixes and maybe some, you know, keyline ploughing and more water infiltration and a lot to do with their soil management. But I'm like, well, don't you want your business to be drought resilient? For your business to be drought resilient, why don't you look at some omnivores? Because the cost of feeding these animals is built into your output cost. So as much as it's lovely that they're all sitting in this beautiful little ryegrass mix here, at the end of the day, if we fell into a really serious drought, yeah, there wouldn't be as much grass on the ground, but I'd still have a business. So that, to me, speaks to drought resilience more than any sort of ecological management.
What I was going to say is, like, farmers are familiar with stacking in terms of, like, they might sell a, you know, working dog as a side enterprise, or they do a bit of spraying or whatever. That's true. So it's not like that. It's not like farmers aren't familiar with it, but maybe not utilizing the benefits, like the fertility benefits for their landscape. Yeah,
I think, look, a lot of this stuff, it's great. I mean, anyone could buy 150 chicks and raise them. I guess the challenge is selling them, and that's where it normally falls apart for farmers. They and in a perfect world, I mean, if you're a farmer, you know, you like sitting on tractors and you like being on your farm. You don't want to have relationships with chefs and whatever else. And I guess that's unique. That's one of my unique skill sets, I guess, that I don't mind. I don't mind that direct selling component of it. But this is where I think there needs to be collaborations. If someone said to me, if my next door neighbour said to me, hey, I'm thinking about doing a batch of 300 turkeys, do you reckon you could sell them? I would jump on that. You know what I mean? This is where collaboration's important. And I think there's also an industry, there's a potential for an industry brand in and around regenerative or holistic management or whatever else. That hasn't happened in Australia yet. I don't think that's prevalent in the States. I still think it's every man for himself, which is a bit ridiculous, really. But I look forward to a day where there's a system where there's a bigger wholesale body that's willing to take on all this regenerative produce and try and get a premium for it. Maybe that'll be my role one day, Dave.
Maybe.
I've gone 2/3 of the way to insanity. I may as well just finish myself off.
Until then, Tathra Place at Gmail if you want to be a turkey farmer.
I know I say this in every video, but look how happy they are. You know what I mean? I've been to confinement CAFOs and even what a lot of people deem as free range nowadays, because we know that's been corrupted. They're not as happy as this. There's no one stressed there.
And they've had their brekkie, and now they're having a bit of a rest, and then they'll get hungry again.
You've had a drink, yeah. Eat a bit of grass on the way over to eating your grain.
Oh, ducks don't eat grass, mate.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Nor do pigs.
Nor do pigs don't eat grass.
Yeah. Actually, we should show them some shots of the pigs in the veggie garden.
Get on, mate. When you thought of running these together, did you just go, oh, why didn't I think of that before?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, I was already brooding them together, but then we were putting the chickens down in the tractors and the ducks up in the paddocks. And the tractors obviously offer more protection to the weather. But this time of the year, like I said, this is only very seasonal. I can't do that all year here. But this time of the year, the conditions are so beautiful. It made no sense. You're going down, having to take feed down to the tractors, check the water down there, move the chicken tractors every day, which isn't a lot of work, but we've eliminated that. You know, it's brought my labour cost. My labour cost on these chickens is like cents per bird.
Yeah, good.
Come on. Come on, John.
Okay.
Paddy, no. Wind motto. Ah.
Yeah. You said we'd stumble on something.
Yeah. So you can see we've just opened this gate here. So this is an area up sort of in and around the sheds that we used to run chickens and stuff here, and you can see how good the grass grows. So this is a bit of a snake haven. So these guys are part of the... Paddy, leave them alone. These guys are really well and truly part of the program now, so they're going to eat this down for us. It's obviously really good for them. And then it'll restart this system here, and we won't have to worry about the kids stumbling into snakes. And I don't know how friendly they are. Mum's pretty friendly.
A couple of apprentices.
Hello. How are you actually doing, bro? Good girl.
What's a dew claw?
So that, like their thumb, I suppose.
All right.
But
Hello. Hello.
I'll bite you too at this age, don't you worry.
Oh, good on them.
Hello, fellas.
These are your vicious guard dogs.
They are. Hello, mate. Hello, mate. This is not something you'll see me do often, patting Maremmas, but you can see how timid they are. You want to get them to the point where they'll sort of come up to you, but then...
Yeah, it's a fine line, right?
It's a fine line.
You want them kind of keen to say hello, but not really.
Someday you might have to take him to the vet. That's a little boy. Hey? You're a good little fella, aren't you? Hey? Do we have any shots of when, like...
Not when it was bare, I don't think. Like,
So
not
we'll
straight
take
after
you-
you took the chooks out.
We'll take you on a bit of a journey down here. This is Flozzer Lane, and we've been taking a fair bit of footage down here. We'll get out in a second anyway. But this is the one that, if you remember me describing, where I had the breast chickens and I was over the whole breast program. So I just left them in that one cell until we processed them all, and they trashed it. It was just dirt, and then far out. There's definitely some good fertility in there, that's for sure. That's come up quick too, hasn't it?
Mm.
In here, there's some... Oh, I should wait for you, shouldn't
No,
I?
that's it.
Yeah, I've just opened the gate for this paddock at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
So the cattle wander in here at their leisure. Ignore this giant piece of fucking
Oh,
thistle
what
here.
do they call them? Messenger plants.
Yeah. But you can see, so I've already grazed that one because it was starting to throw a seed. So
That's the one you were lying down in. If anyone is watching along
yeah,
multiple
yeah, that's
episodes.
the one we were laying down in, and that's been prolific. There's a few reasons why that's done well. I got the management pretty right in there. In saying that, in contrast, I got my management wrong in there.
Well, you
and
thought you got it wrong.
Yeah, and it seems to have gone really well. A lot of these are volunteers. I haven't drilled this. I mean, I did drill it quite a while ago. That's why I can see there's chicory and stuff in there. That's why I know I haven't drilled chicory for a while. So that's a couple of years old, but it just, I don't know, it gains momentum now.
Mm.
I mean, there's a heap of clover and stuff in there too. So we'll graze that now before it goes to senescence. But all these cells need grazing just about. And look at this. I mean, I described at the start of this video that in this area now, and I don't know, Dave might even be able to take some footage on his way home, but we've really dried out. You know what's exciting here? That's...
That one?
Yeah.
Is that plantain?
No, yeah, that's plantain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is obviously where we feed the pigs, so it takes a little bit longer to sort of repair itself. But this area is really drying out now. There are people that are already sort of making plans as far as destocking or adjusting or throwing hay out and whatever. But look at this. So what does this come down to? It comes down to really, really good root depth. So we're getting water infiltrate and we're keeping water in our system, and we've got fantastic organic matter. So it's like a giant sponge. So we're hoping for rain in the next few days. But when's the last time? We haven't had rain for a while.
We had one overnight storm maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, but it would have been 5 mil.
So it's been dry, but we're just not seeing it in our system. We're not seeing it. The longer that I seem to, the further down the road I go with this system, I just see more and more resilience.
I got it.
Good.
Ooh. Good. G'day, mate.
Clover. See, that's already gone to seed. Started to go to seed, so we'll graze this now.
Is that the rye?
Yep.
Pardon my ignorance, but some of it going to seed is good, is it not? Or you want to go
not this time of year. Not this
yeah,
time of
it's
year.
too early, right?
You want to get a couple of grazes off it first. So these will be, this initial graze I do will be fast, really fast. So they'll probably only get 2 days on this.
Yeah, just nip the tops off.
Just try and take the top off it. And then these cattle are pretty good. Like typically if you did that, they'd just go around and eat all the clover. But these guys have been pretty good. I think because they're used to moving so often, they realise eat as quickly as you can because this bastard's going to move us. So they eat quite non-discriminatory. They'll chew through whatever they're standing on. And of course, don't forget, they're also treading on a lot and going to the toilet on a lot, which is super beneficial. But there's a really good mix in here. I'm happy with this. Again, this paddock is predominantly volunteers, to be honest. Let's try and find the soil, Dave. Yeah, it's pretty dry. It is pretty dry under there. Yep. Yeah, just goes to show. But that's the advantage of having deep roots, eh? They're finding moisture somewhere.
Dicking and deep roots.
Yeah, there's not a problem. Oh, there's like some native wheat over here too.
It is such a cool lane though. How many paddocks we got? 4 each side or something?
2, 3,
3,
4, 5, 6. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
8 down here.
With varying, like, everything's kind of been different in them, hasn't it?
Yeah, totally. And there's been plenty of mistakes made down here too, don't worry. But I don't know, she's very forgiving, Mother Nature. Every time I think I've cocked something up, I don't know, we still get pretty good results. Like this one in here never got drilled or anything, and admittedly there's some fog grass and stuff in there, but it doesn't matter. Look at the ground coverage. It's if you the problem with this system is when you transfer over to doing something like this, you got to wait a couple of years to kind of see this. It doesn't happen straight away. So, but if you stick at it, God, I couldn't recommend it anymore. I mean, I need to emphasise too that I know I've said it twice now, but where we are here in the Southern Tablelands, we haven't had rain for quite a while, and everything's really dried out. It's warming up. It's the end of spring, and you kind of need to know that contrast to understand why this is really cool, you know.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can pretty much tell up the dip.
Yeah. I mean, look at Phil's. Look at the colour of that. Phil's probably one of the best operators in this region, anyway. My neighbour, and it's just dried out. It's just that time of the year. But yeah, we've been pretty lucky.
That is not Tathra Place. You be right? Right.
Come for a walk through my garden. So this was an opportunity I gave to a young market gardener who decided he wanted to come and become a market gardener, but it was all too hard for him, unfortunately. So he's walked away from this now. There's some garlic here. Look,
not too hard for me. Thanks very much, JP. That was really good.
So you can have a feed on your way through. I mean,
no, that was good.
I mean, I obviously don't eat veggies.
Oh no, don't do this to yourself. No.
You've done a good job. So we thought, don't worry about vitamins or free choice minerals. Let your pigs in here for a couple of weeks. Imagine the vitamins and minerals, and they're eating all this stuff and eating all the roots. And so,
wait on, I'm just getting more snow peas. Just give me a.
So they've had their brekkie, so they're snoozing. But we've actually given all of our groups of breeding sows a go in here, almost as just, like I said, like a vitamin kick for them. and they're absolutely loving it.
It's like going on a cruise, except instead of daiquiris, there's vegetables to it.
It's nothing like that. It's nothing like that at all. That's what you just told the camera. Holiday. You just told the camera, mate. All right.
They're on the holiday. That was my point.
But we've actually, I mean, it's seasonal. The pigs should look amazing this time of the year, but our sows at the moment look bloody amazing. Like super happy. This one here is obviously a bit confused.
Yeah.
So that means she's cycling. If she's trying to mount him, it means she's cycling.
That is a confused situation.
Yeah. But oh, don't worry. I mean, she is keen. She's like, come on, big boy. That's my beautiful Duroc boar for all my amazing American viewers. Oh, huge news for everyone in America. I'm coming.
Yes.
I'm coming. 8th of July next year, Tathra Place Free Range is coming to America. I'm going to Polyfaces. I'm going to White Oak Pastures. Actually, shout out, if you were flying into Dallas and you were hiring a motorhome, just going to take my 14-year-old son, where would you go? What farm should I go to? Tell us, please, because I am very illiterate when it comes to the United States, but I'm super excited. This has been a bucket list thing for me. But anyway, so that's my Duroc boar. Are you still on?
Yeah,
that's my Duroc boar there. So we run a Duroc Hampshire. They're both American breeds, as the Americans will know. Love them both. You guys have done an incredible job there. Tried all different kinds, and this is definitely where I'm happy. So he'll get her, don't you worry. She's one of my prolific breeders too. She has some of our biggest litters here, that one. Oh, she doesn't want to lay down with me. Come on, girl.
Couple little kisses.
She's already pregnant. Mate, you're barking up the wrong tree there. She's pregnant. It's this one here that wants it. She used to be an escape artist, this one.
Oh, yeah?
She's lucky to actually still be here. Normally the ones that are always getting out, I piss them off. But her first litter, she had 15. I'll never forget.
Oh, well. Gold medal.
Oh, big girl. Hey.
Oh, you're placid.
She's actually a saddleback.
Oh, yeah.
Mate, what a day. Honestly, can you imagine being in an office? Can you imagine be crawling through people's ceilings and under people's floors? That's what I used to do. Shout out to all my Sparky mates, by the way. Great blokes, but look at this. I've got the audacity to call this work. It's ridiculous. So guys, as Dave and I often do, got a little bit distracted with looking at some pastures today, but the idea of the breeding sows getting to cycle through that garden and the cycling of the breeding sows just generally is really fantastic for their health, breaking egg cycles, stuff like that. But the Dickon, that was the key for today. So if you've got two enterprises that complement each other as beautifully as our duck setup and our chickens, the broiler setup, why not
stack them?
Well, yeah, stick them together, stack them up, and look for opportunities like that. You know, there's many examples of waterfowl that could run together. Geese, ducks, laying ducks, chickens can obviously be incorporated into that system, a heritage breed. You've got sheep and goats run really well together. Then you can set up a flird. Then you've got some cattle in with that as well. There's many examples of being able to incorporate these animals in together. So give it a go.
And spot some flies.